it's Amelie. Hi, it's Amelie. Today for just practicing, we're going to play Andante e Scherzo by Ganne. And it's a live stream, so if you have questions, comments, you can leave them in the chat and I'll try to answer them during the live stream. So, it's a beautiful piece that I think I've never played before. I've heard it a lot, and now I'm gonna look at it. It's one of the nice ones. Okay. So the beginning is Andante moderato, which means pretty slow, like a slow walk. And doux et simple means soft and simple. So let's start. The two first bars are repeated exactly the same, so that would be nice to do a color change there. So I'll write color in my music to think about it. So maybe the first one I'll do more a bit more edgy, a bit darker, and the second one a bit more like transparent. Okay. And then there's a breath mark just before 7. I don't think I will breathe there because you have this crescendo and then you cut the crescendo to get to the F, you know, I think. Kind of cuts it. So I'm not going to breathe there. I'll see where I need to breathe. Between 7 and 8, and then I might not need the other one. That's something you have to decide for yourself, because your lung capacity might be a little bit different than mine. But usually, you know, breathing in a crescendo, it kind of breaks the momentum, so I try not to do that. And I have the same thing here at 15. I'm not gonna take a breath there. I'm gonna take it after 15 because here we have a dynamic change going to piano, and it's gonna be easier if I breathe there. Am I clear in that? Yeah. So I go from 12 or 13. So here you just have to figure out what arpeggio it is. Like at 19, it's a B flat major arpeggio. Then you repeat it. Then you're in G minor at 21, G minor with a 7th. And then at 23, you have a D major. And it repeats after. So if you see it like that as an arpeggio, instead of reading each note, it's a bit easier, especially if you already know your scales and arpeggios. Okay. when you have those things going down, be careful not to do this with your head, because it will make the low notes. Like, it's a tendency we all have, but then the low notes sometimes don't come out. I'll go from 19 and do that again. Should I tongue that? I think I will. Okay, 23. Even if I'm sight reading, I still write right at the beginning. If I make a mistake, I don't think, oh, next time I won't make that mistake. I just write it down. I'll go from 31. Dolce e espressivo, just soft and expressive. And then when you have dolcissimo, it's very soft. F sharp, G sharp. How do you do that? Huh? I think it's harmonics. Yeah, that's what I just did. Yeah, harmonics. Yeah, F sharp, G sharp, I think there's not another solution. Yeah. So you have to do a harmonic. I start on the real fingering, then I take a B fingering and I do B, C sharp, but I hit the F sharp. And then I go back and then I come back to the real E sharp, which is a F. So that's how it's done. So no. I think I'm gonna breathe at 38 during that rest. This way I make sure I did the rest. And then you have the piano, and then I go back at 46. playing a bit slow, huh?
Just a little.
That's a good speed, I think. That's 76. Yeah. For now. No, sometimes I change my mind, but for today, I feel like doing it at that speed. You can also listen to different versions and check with your metronome what it is, and what the versions you prefer, you go do that speed, you know, and you can always change your mind. I think I'm not gonna tongue, because it's pianissimo and I want it to sound like it's coming from nowhere. Change some of the breathing marks that I have here. I'm not going to breathe in the crescendo. I'm going to breathe between the forte and the piano. Yeah, I might breathe there. Okay, I'm going to change this here. Now I'm at 56. No question?
No, nothing yet.
So here you have a cadenza, you hold that D and then you do a crescendo on it, and then you have, okay, I see. So okay, so you don't go back to the first note, you go back from a bit higher, but then it's the same arpeggio exactly. Okay, and it's an echo, so forte and then pianissimo, as loud as you can and then as soft as you can for the same thing. No, piano. I don't know if, yeah, so you see it goes, the bottom note goes up and the top note goes down. So you have top note, let's see here, bottom note is B and top note is D flat, and then from B you go to C and then D, D flat and D, so you do chromaticism, and then you have the same thing on the top. You have D flat, C, C flat, and then B flat. Yeah, if you see it like that, it's a bit easier. Also, all those arpeggio things that you have like at the beginning of the cadenza, like you can practice them like that, going up and down. It can be your technique exercise even for a week. And one thing that I really like to do now is, if I have a little part that I want to improve, I pick a very small portion, like that, let's say, and I practice it for a minute. And in 1 minute, you can play that thing many times. And just in 1 minute a day, you can improve a lot some of those little parts. Okay, I'm gonna go from that second line of the cadenza. it's just that, huh? It goes chromatically from C sharp to E. That little. I'll just write how many times. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 times. I'll write it 1, 2, 3, 4. This way I don't even have to read it. Okay. No question there?
Yeah.
So you should really focus on the dynamics. It's interesting there. Having
The 30-second
clear
notes
articulation.
Yeah.
What?
Some people are saying that the 30-second notes are a bit crazy.
Oh, in the cadenza?
Yeah, just a cadenza though.
Yeah,
right?
you
So-
don't have to measure it too much, okay? So if you think, oh, it's so crazy, it's 30-second notes,
but when
just
yeah.
think of it as, because you're unaccompanied there, it's like you're free, okay? So it's really, it's not measured precisely. It's just saying those notes should be played fast. So you have a note you hold for a while and then you go as fast as you can. But I would say the 60-second trick works marvelously for those types of things. Pick one line, practice it for 30 seconds, and then go to the next. It's way more efficient than trying to do the whole thing at once when you're learning it. When you get tired and you can't see the notes anymore, you stop. Don't try to learn notes when you're very tired, because you might learn mistakes, then you have to undo them and it takes more time. Just go, have a glass of water, a tea, whatever, take a walk and come back, you know. And yeah, keep your fingers close, and yeah, just find little ways to practice it, like up and down, and also seeing how it's built sometimes helps, because you see the middle in all those things, you have the middle notes never move. They're always the same. Like let's say F and A flat, and it's the top and bottom notes that go closer to each other by semitone. So if you see that, then really you can learn it way faster than if you're trying to read each note. If you can see the patterns, you know, then you can group those patterns in your brain, and it gets it's less crowded because you group things. It's like having papers all over or putting them in binders or whatever, you know. Okay, that's okay. Okay, but don't be intimidated, because it's a lot of notes and it seems very dark with a lot of lines and everything. Okay, here it's going to be a bit more sports. You have to use double tonguing here, clearly. So, yeah. If you're not familiar with it, we have a video about double tonguing. You should go and check it out. I'm going to look. Okay, we're in D major. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so you have those so you have to give sforzando on those notes, which is just like a big accent, and then you go back down, and then you have some notes that have a line. Those need to be a bit longer, I would say. happy with my tonguing right now. I'm going to do it slowly once. Because here you see the accents. It means you need to give more. It's longer. It's more like it's accentuated. That part, I would practice it slurred. I would practice it with the tonguing upside down. I would start slowly and increase gradually with the metronome. I could also practice with rhythms, so like and then maybe one bar plus one note. I like doing that because I can focus on that bar, doing it as fast as I can. Then I stop and then I go back. It's a bit less less information at once for the brain, but you can still work on the speed that way. Yeah, and practicing the tonguing upside down. So ka kata 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 kata. You put the ka on the strong beat instead of the real way, which is the ka on the ta on the strong beat. Then when you do it in the right way, it gets easier. And yeah, and playing slurred is very good because when we slur, we keep the mask here a bit better. Sometimes I see people tonguing and moving a lot the mouth, or trying to pronounce every note when really the mouth doesn't need to move. It's exactly the same as playing legato, but the tongue is not even noticeable from outside. It's just, and here it stays the same. So if you have difficulty with your tonguing, you can practice it like this. You go once slurred. And then you keep the same way of blowing, same embouchure, and you add the tongue. You get the gist of it. So 103 now. I think here I'll use a metronome. That's not too bad. Yeah. Okay. See if I put it. Here they say un peu retenu, which is the same as poco meno mosso. It's just a tiny bit slower at 103. One, two, three, one, da 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 dum, da 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 dum, da 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 dum. Okay, I'll that slowly once. I'll do it a bit slower. Okay, I know my slowly is not that slowly, I get it, but it's because I can see the patterns maybe a bit faster because I've been practicing those types of things. Maybe it depends, you know, if you're more comfortable slower, just play it slower for longer. Okay, I'll try to put it like at 56. So you see those notes that have the line is upward. So that note is like the melody line. It's the same melody that you have at 103. You take it back at 111, but you add some, it's almost like grace notes, really. So the melody is, but you have, and here it's only a chromaticism, so you don't need to read everything really. It goes E, D sharp, and then from D sharp you go up all the semitones until the F sharp. Okay, I'm gonna go from 103. That's okay. I get it. Of course, I would have to practice it more if I was playing a concert, but I just want to get through it for today. So at 119. Okay, I'll do it once a bit slower. Okay. You see, sometimes I try to make it very clear in my head what it's before I take my flute, because what's the point of playing it with my flute if it's not even clear in my head? I'm not gonna be able to do it if I don't understand the rhythm, let's say. So sometimes I'll just sing the rhythm and make sure I know what's going on. would write down piano, and I would really make sure I don't go loud, because there's no crescendo there, and I think it's interesting to just keep it piano. Because we have a tendency to make it louder because it's going up, but if we don't do it, we go against what's expected, and sometimes that makes it more interesting than going towards what's expected each time. This way the person, the listener, is expecting something and you're trumping that, so it creates a little surprise without the person knowing that's why they like it, but they're going to be a bit more focused on what you do because you're surprising them. So here the piano goes da, 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 bum, bum, da, 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 and you accompany with a trill. Okay, so here everything's sharp except B. Here it's all chromatic. Those are arpeggios, and they go down, yeah. Okay, so it's like okay. Okay, I'll do it one slower with a metronome. From 164. Also be careful when you decide where you're going to breathe. If, like, let's say here, I'm practicing it slower, obviously I'm going to need to breathe more, but it doesn't mean I should write it down now. I should just decide once I play to the real tempo, I think, because if not, you don't need to breathe as much if you're playing faster. Maybe I'll do a bit faster. Try to do from 156. Kind of, we get it. You know, like for today, that would be my max, I think, because I want to finish it. and I would have to go back another day. And if I was playing that in concert, I would take it, I don't know, maybe a few weeks before, and then I like to have time to go practice it, then go and rest, let it sink in, and come back and do that, And when I was younger, I would learn not that many pieces really in a year, because I would learn a study every week, but pieces I would need months. Sometimes maybe I would learn 2 to 4 in a year, I think. What was your rate when you were younger?
For what?
Learning pieces. Not that many. You couldn't learn a piece a week. When you're learning and you're
like a whole piece?
Yeah, like a piece like that.
Performance ready?
Yeah.
As a student?
Yeah.
It would take about a month.
Yeah. Like a month. So and it depends on the level of difficulty, and because sometimes I used to take pieces that were above my level, and they would really help me raise the level, but then I would need more time to learn it because I didn't have the skills yet. I was building the skills as I was going on. So I'm just saying, like, be patient, and if you're taking something, maybe you're not going to read it in one sitting, and it's totally fine. It's better to do less and do it well, and take your time to learn it. Okay, I'm continuing at 183, something like that. Okay, so that's not too bad. You see, it's the same thing except B and then B flat, but it's A flat, F, and D, so. And then 191. Sorry, I had saliva on my flute. 191 is like 71. So if you know 71, you know 191. So that's a good news. Okay, let's go from 207. Okay. That's all from the D, it's chromatic. I'll try to see if I can play it a bit faster. Yeah, kind of. It's okay.
Flutter tonguing just now? Because somebody wants to know how.
No, there's no flutter tonguing. We have a video about flutter tonguing.
But somebody was wondering about what age can someone start playing flutter tonguing. I don't think it matters by age.
No, you can play flutter tonguing at any age. I don't think there's sometimes little kids don't overthink it and they get it like that, But flutter tonguing, it's one of those things some people get it very fast, some other it takes more time. It has nothing to do with talent. It's just that one skill of doing
Can you give one example of flutter tonguing besides what you just did?
It's just yeah. I'm gonna do that again. 07. I like it because he changes the whole harmony there. It's kind of interesting. I like that scale. think that if I was learning it for a concert, I would put so much effort in that ending because it's your time to shine, you know. Sometimes we tend to always start from the beginning when we practice, and we should not do that. Sometimes we should start from the middle and sometimes the end, and very often at the end it's the time to shine. The composers end on a very intense note where we can go raw, and so it needs to be very well known for many reasons. One is that it's the end, we want to finish strong, and also at the end of the piece we might be a bit more tired, so we need to really know that part even better than anything else, because with the feeling a bit tired from the whole performance, adding to everything else, I think practicing the end a lot, and here I would really emphasize that. I practice the whole thing, but if you're always tired when you're practicing your ending, you're gonna regret it. Okay, 223. No. Okay, I'll do that again. Yeah, it's a C sharp. Because it's weird because they write the C sharp, so then I doubt, you know, if it's really at the key. For that low note, make sure you keep the angle here and you don't turn in too much, and it's gonna keep it open. I'll do it again. You see those accents? Really use them, like taka 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 ta. It's even gonna give you, you know, like a little rest on those notes to keep on going. It's like a élan. How do you say that? You know, when you take a swing, you know, you need that motion to take your swing. Yeah, it's pretty much that. Yeah. And when you have those go towards those notes on the first beat that have the accent. You know? So it's like and yeah, if you know, if you have difficulties with that, practice your chromatic scales going up and down, and you can make that an exercise. Just those two last lines, you practice it. Those two lines going up and down, all of those things for a minute each day, and yeah.
I can do that paper.
Yeah.
Cool. answer some questions.
So we had questions.
Yeah, a lot of people were wondering about high F sharp and middle F sharp and how to keep those in tune. Those are our trouble fingering.
F sharp?
Yeah, people.
Well, practice with a tuner and you'll figure out, you know, how to lower it. Maybe change the angle, put it a bit more inside.
Yeah.
And also I go, ooh, more in the back of the mouth. I don't try to go like this, because if I go like this in the high register, then the airstream is going to go higher on the flute too. So keep your body in line. Don't go and try to get the note outwards. Stay centered. And if you're playing it softly, you can put the middle finger instead of the ring finger, and it's going to lower it. But the problem with that is that if it's loud, it's not going to get a good sound. It's only when it's a soft F sharp.
Faith Perkins wants to know, how do you get such a clear tone for the lower octave? I keep trying to get my lower notes to sound clear, but they sound airy, especially around middle E flat. It's really airy.
Okay. Maybe try to get your best note. Then look at yourself in the mirror and try to keep the same embouchure as your best note in the low register. You're probably doing some type of movement that you want, you know, you think my sound is airy, I probably have to work harder to make it better, and then you probably work too hard. And just keep the position you have on your best note is the position you should have pretty much everywhere. There's going to be tiny adjustments, but those are almost unconscious, and you should try to be more, find your good center embouchure for everything, and then the rest will find its own place, I think. Try that and tell us if it helps.
Okay, they'll try it. Amir wants to know, I'm now struggling with double tonguing. I just can't get a sound off my flute when I try to do it. Any tips? No sounds at double tonguing, I see.
Maybe you're moving too much here.
Yeah.
There's no movement outside. So look at yourself in the mirror and start with only the ka. So take a note. That's easy. Let's say a D and go. Then when you get a good ka, 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 try taka, taka, and try without your flute sometimes, like. Sometimes I used to practice like that. And make sure the airstream is continuing. If you don't get a sound, maybe it's because you stop. You're focusing so much on your tongue that maybe you stop blowing.
Somebody wants to know how to calm your nerves for an audition. Whenever I have them, I get so nervous I can't stop shaking and messing up. Also, how do I calm my lips before my lips shake, and also my legs and arms shake too during a concert?
Okay, well, it's not an easy one because it depends on each person, but sometimes we maybe check if you have low blood sugar. Like sometimes I used to shake before concerts, because before concerts I wasn't hungry, but then I realized I was hungry, but I was so nervous I couldn't feel my hunger, and then that would make me shake even more. So maybe like something that's easy to, you know, like almonds, or I don't know, something.
Proteins.
Yeah, protein, fat type of thing. Maybe it's gonna.
Not sugar.
Not sugar. That's gonna make you even more hyper. That can help, but mostly it's our inner voice that's bugging us very often. So that's what I try to do when that inner voice comes, is I try to redirect it. So I let that thought go and I just focus on things that I can control. So I focus on technical stuff, move my fingers. I tell myself, breathe, move your fingers. I say the name of the notes in my head, you know, and breathing is a big help. So if you get very nervous, your heart starts beating faster, and the breathing and the heart rate are associated together. So if you start breathing slower, your heart rate will go slower. So you could, what I do sometimes is I go like this, I take a deep breath, and then I hold it like that for a good 20 seconds, and I can feel my heart go boom, 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 you know? And then after a while, it gets back, and then I breathe out, take a couple of long breaths, and then I do it again, and it calms the heart. Yeah, what else? Breathing, your voice. That's you know, being ready. Also, before the audition, maybe make a mock audition with people, or even with a recorder. You imagine yourself, you visualize yourself, and this way it's like when you get to the real thing, it's not your first time, because you've done it in your head, or you've done it for real, but in a setting that was a mock audition. And sometimes you can even just visualize yourself, sit down, visualize yourself, you see going in, you're calm, and really feel it, you know, I'm getting in there, I'm calm, okay, I take my flute, they say play your first piece, I play it, and then you hear the whole thing, you see the whole thing. Athletes do that a lot, and it works. I've done that for big exams and auditions, and it does work. It helps a lot. There are studies that have been done with athletes. They separated them in 3 groups. One was doing actual physical practice and visualization half the time. One was doing only the physical practice, and one was doing only the visualization. And the people who improved the most were the people doing only the visualization. That's kind of impressive, because you don't make mistakes when you're visualizing.
Right.
So you get the right input in your brain.
Right.
So you should try that.
So we have 2 or 3 more questions left. What are good books to buy for scales and practice?
I like the Tafanel and Gobert.
Yeah, you don't have to buy it though, it's free. You can get it
Yeah,
on IMSLP.
IMSLP, you can find Tafanel and Gobert.
Yeah.
Rice Shirt is cool too,
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
also
also free
That's
on
also fine
IMSLP.
too, yeah. We have an article on our website about those books and where to find them.
Okay, so
People can find
on
them.
our website you can find the
article
about
music,
that.
Yeah, sheet music and stuff. Just search Tafanel and you'll find the article on
Okay,
the
are
website.
people hearing that?
Yeah,
Okay,
you
cool.
can. I think people heard that. Search Tafanel on our website.
Cool.
Yeah, okay. I'm curious about how to play high notes that, I'm curious about how to make playing high notes like high B sound good when it's being played piano.
Like that one?
Like high B. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
That's the high B. Even middle B, it's hard to
Yeah.
play B. Like play piano, yeah, for a long period.
Yeah. It takes time.
With the tuner too, so you know it's in tune at least.
Yeah. In the high notes, playing them soft is like what I try to do is stay relaxed, not cramp, because if I cramp, then it's not going to work very well. And I try to hear the sound that I want before I do it. And you have to have good airspeed, but not too much quantity of air. And I think of opening in the back of the mouth, like that type of, and I don't even feel the air going like this. I almost feel it going like this, but I know it's not what's happening. But and you really need pressure here. And I use I've started doing Pilates and eccentrics and all types of things that you know, where you stretch the ribs, well, the rib cage, and you breathe like this, and then now I feel all those little muscles that can help me support better, and it's amazing. So like try to feel all that here, you know, everything here. Like you can fill it up, you can stretch it, you can bend it. Like try to feel what's going on here, so that when you breathe, and then you can use the whole, all around, that group of muscle here to support the air very well and very at the speed that you want to get that high sound that you are looking for.
Did you already mention?
And it's about practicing, you know, practicing those high notes. Like I give my students sometimes little arpeggios in the third octave like this. Right now I'm just playing any note, but just long notes. You can improvise something. And if you don't have the sound that you want, don't stop right away. Just continue and look for it while you're practicing. Because sometimes I see students, they don't have the sound they want. They stop as if they did something wrong, they're going to burn themselves. No, just continue and continue searching for it. There's no problem.
Yeah, everyone always says to use your stomach for playing flute and for support, but I don't know how. And then somebody said diaphragm, but the diaphragm doesn't move.
Okay, that's the thing that I don't know. Some teacher probably said that at one point, then everyone repeated it. The diaphragm, use your diaphragm. The diaphragm is a membrane. It's not a muscle. It's a membrane that separates the organs from the top from the organs from the bottom. So lungs and heart are above the diaphragm, and all the digestive organs are under the diaphragm. And it does move if you breathe properly, but you're not controlling it per se. It's all the muscles around that control it. I feel that sometimes teachers explain breathing in a way that makes students think that they need to use their lower abdomen, lower abdominals here to breathe and blow. Personally, it doesn't work for me. I'm not saying it doesn't work for anyone. It doesn't work for me. It's not enough. And also, it just doesn't work for me. So personally, I use the whole chest. So I go, you can see in my back, you see my like if I had my shoulder blades, they can go away from each other. You see?
Yeah.
So I use that, and I use here. You know, I still use my belly, but it's not only the belly. If you use only the belly, you get almost no air. I used to breathe like that, and then I had almost nothing, and I was always out of breath. Now I go, I fill the whole thing up, and then I use those muscles. There's not only, you don't have muscles only here.
No.
You know, and this muscle here is the best one. If you do the sound, do and you'll feel it right away here. That one is ultra strong for pushing air. It's the best one. I used to think, because I don't know, I misunderstood something. I thought it was here, and I was always pushing from here, and I was not getting the results I wanted. And then at one point, I think I read something about singing, and in the singing exercise they said to do and then I felt those muscles. I was like, oh, that's it, that's where I need to blow, and it changed my life. And then when I started using the chest more, I read some books about breathing, and I started doing Pilates and all those things, and then I realized, oh, that's just amazing. Yeah. And it's all linked. You want to play nice sounds in the higher octave piano, and you want to have a more efficient breathing and all those things. It's all linked together.
Somebody wants to say a good vibrato.
Thank you.
I like your vibrato.
Thanks. Okay. So that's it for the questions?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to be in Nashville for the PodX Nashville from May 31st to June 2nd. So if you're there, we're going to do a meetup there. So
If you're
just
in the Tennessee area or in the
yeah,
Midwest or
if
wherever you
you're
wanna call it.
around Nashville, come and say hi, and we could meet and yeah, go
Let us
take a
know
little.
that you're in those areas so we know if we want to do it or
Yeah,
whatever.
you can message us
Yeah.
at info@theflutechannel.com, I guess, and
yeah, that's probably the best way.
then we can organize a meetup. If you want to help us, we have a Patreon, so patreon.com/theflutechannel, and we have the live podcast on the Patreon, and you can be a member for as little as $2 a month, and it gives you different perks, and you can also give more and get more perks, and just go and check it out. It's very interesting.
It helps us make us more content.
It helps us make more content, and it's very encouraging to us when you encourage us, because we're building a community of flutists here. So we're also gonna have a flute con this summer. If you want to join our newsletter, go at flutecon.com, and you just you sign up, and we'll send you the info when it's ready. So flutecon.com. If you are interested in some of our merch, we have a new hat.
It's not here.
It's not here. We have a poster with the fingerings and the trills. That's very popular. We have shirts, mugs, all types of things. Go to store.theflutechannel.com. And if you want lessons with me or with Nicolas, you can just email us at info@theflutechannel.com, and we'll give you all the info about that. We do Skype lessons, and we do in-person lessons as well. So, yeah. One last question?
Well,
No?
good. Anything else? You already did lessons? Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
So I hope this was helpful. If you liked it, please like it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, and see you next time. Thanks for watching.